Well, hey there team, and welcome to Stationeers. Well, hello there team, and welcome... Gave me a bit of a fright. Welcome back to our Stationeers moon run. I'll take a quick moment to have a quick chat about things, because for the most part things are kind of in hand. That's running itself. Anyway, we'll address that in a moment. I just want to say at the top, we're going to continue with this series, obviously, and we're going to start iterating, but I would say, as far as some of the bare basics, we have a power supply. While it's not super high-tech, it's pretty solid. We have a growth solution, and while we took some experimental, interesting paths to it, it's probably about as stable as it's going to be at, let's say it like a tier 1 iteration, right? There's work to be done on it, but at the moment, we're doing rounds every night, and for the most part, it's self-supplying. And as far as an oxygen situation, well, look, we haven't even touched that. I'm curious, what is our, oxygen pressure at, sort of? Oh, Jesus, look at that. 817. We need to deal with that immediately. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Lucky I checked. Lucky I did this little summary. So don't leave your oxygen forgotten for too long there, team. And I might just change this battery as well while I'm having a bit of a rant. Okay, so what I was getting at... Wait, that can't be right. I've pressed something wrong. Hang on. There we go. So things are doing quite well. What I'm potentially going to do is I'll petition you guys now, because if you're watching this, you're probably my current keen audience. I'm going to start doing a spin-off Stationeers run at the same time. This is not getting abandoned in any way. I've been quite open about how I let my stats dictate my behavior, as far as series. So as long as you keep watching this, we will keep playing it. But I'm sure people are interested to see how we go starting, especially with these lessons learned. So I'm not going to start fresh on the moon per se, but I'm keen to do a start on another planet. Now, bearing in mind, I haven't played any of the other planets. So look, I suppose if you really asked me, I would suggest probably doing Mars next, just because it's next down the list from what I can tell. And it seems to get brutal. There's ones at the bottom, it's like Europa or orbiting a bloody star or a black hole or something. I don't know much, to be honest. So you guys just spam down in the comments what you reckon. And we'll have a bit of a look, and we'll see if we can all come to an agreeable understanding. And I will potentially start a new spin-off series on whatever the people want to see me attempt to tackle. Should be interesting as well, because with some of those, I sincerely think I'm going to blow myself up several times going in. So anyway, I thought I'd just rally you for that. So, on the back of some other things people have been pointing out, because we've come a long way. This series has taken off quite a bit, and we've gotten to a point where the sort of fumbling in the dark, it was fun in the beginning, but now sort of employing a little bit more harder knowledge, it's starting to grate people, and I understand that I'm not really sort of doing... Let's say there's a due diligence now, because the series has built a bit of momentum. So I've started a second moon base that I've been experimenting with a little bit on my downtime. Now, bear in mind, I'm an indie game YouTuber and reviewer first, so Stationeers is cool, but I don't have a lot of time to play it and learn. But I've been reading the instruction manual, I've been Googling, I've been experimenting, so I'm listening to you guys, I'm doing my best. So I'm sort of learning from that process. A few interesting things. I've replicated this garden, not like that, but I used the starting hydroponics setup. Still had the same sort of heat problem. So, but which we think might be the water. In a way, I think I've confirmed that the undercarriage is not a problem, to be perfectly honest. If the pipes were, then perhaps, but the things that are poking through the bottom are, I wonder if we can see it from here, but it's just the tray, the little bit of the tray's geometry, but I don't believe that's affecting the heat, because even one plant would be putting the temperature up like 20 degrees or something. It could still be a water issue, because in the portable hydroponics tray, did we ever actually use it in this run? I can't remember. Maybe it's still up here. Portable generator. What happened to it if not? Is it just downstairs sitting inside? It might be, and I've just ignored it this whole time. I can't remember. but the water canister goes straight into it as well. So it's not like you can isolate the water out of the equation in the starter kit either, like try and put it in a cool place. It's got to sit in the tray in the sun, I suppose. Now, further to that, I built a furnace and got that working, so people will be excited to know that furnaces will be next on the menu, because I know quite a few people are asking about that, and we'll go through it, and I'll try and be a lot more diligent in my explanation, especially now that we're going to have less of a time problem going in. And I put one radiator on an outside setup like this, and not only did it fix our heating problem, it created a significant cooling problem. So if you cycle that air back in, it would be too cold for the plants to grow, only from like 1 day of sitting out here cooling. So that's cool, and that's why my heating problem seems unique, because I've been refusing to use steel structures, let's say, not using radiators. Not refusing, I'm not trying to be belligerent, but I'm trying to just do it without the furnace, because, you know, the furnace is hard to get your head around for some of the newer blokes. So what I'm trying to get at here is talk about this system in general. You have an air supply inside your grow room. I heard some guys having some back and forth. Someone insists that you don't need CO2 to grow plants, and the other insists that you do. One was citing experience, saying he never used CO2 and it worked, and the other was citing the Stationeers Wiktionary, or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. It makes sense to me that they do need CO2, but regardless, you have your sort of air supply. But I think, this is me, I'm not saying this is the way to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it. You need to mentally separate your air supply for the plant room from the cooling supply. They need to be two different things. Because, not if, but when disaster strikes, say a valve breaks or something like that, you're going to lose both your air supply to the room and your heating supply, just in general. And how do you troubleshoot that? It becomes twice as difficult because you have multiple systems that you put together into one system, perhaps for the sake of being more convenient. It creates a multifaceted problem. So in my experience, you want to separate out different systems. All right, so where this rant is going is basically, at the moment, we are cooling air and potentially heating it if we had a cooling problem and pumping it back in the room. What you need to do is create a cooling solution that doesn't require that air, right? And this is going to take on the form of what you would see in a modern fridge, I suppose. Now, again, I'm talking theory. I haven't necessarily built this, but the plan would be as such. You would have your air supply. We'll just treat that as separate for the moment, right? But you don't even worry about and that's the other thing as well. That air supply you could cycle through a filtration system, right? You could probably have some sort of, like a volume pump or something like that, some sort of slow forced circulation that filters it and then puts it back in. So let's say you had a filtration cycle that would take the air in the room slowly, put it through a filter, and put it back in the room, right? And keep it what you want. That's one thing, but we're not dealing with that just yet. The cooling is the other thing. So what you would actually have is a piped system that goes into the room, and the exchange is just going to be free exchange through the pipes. In fact, you would probably have an internal radiator as well. So you'd have a pipe system with a radiator inside the room that goes out into a pipe system pretty much like this, except not as an air supply, right? So maybe you use it as X or something. You could use whatever gas you want, probably with the best specific heat capacity. So you'd put that out there and have a radiator here. Where they join, where it transits into the room through the wall, you would put let's say a digital valve. This is my plan. And that digital valve would then obviously be hooked up to power, but it's going to be hooked up to a temperature sensor that'll be within the room, right? And all that's going to do is send a basic logic sort of 1 or 0 argument, a command, I suppose, back to the digital valve. We'll have to massage the temperature that it requires, but ultimately, when the room temperature becomes a tiny bit too hot, we will signal it to open the valve, and then when it hits another temperature, we'd signal it to close. Now that's the gist of the cooling thing. The only issue with that is that we're going to have some radical This can be radically cold, potentially like, you know, well below zero, and we're going to be trying to keep the room at 20 degrees, and it's only the one small space. So it's going to be very difficult to get that sort of, that hairline adjustment, especially when it's just open or closed. So that would be my plan at the moment going on. Now let's just do our rounds. I know I've stood still and ranted for a little bit, but I thought it was probably worth sort of collecting ourselves and also talking about doing another break-off series sort of thing as well. Alright, cool. It is interesting though, after having experimented with the radiator, that this system is almost better just because the heat, the cooling outside is not as radical, to be perfectly honest. Alright, set. Alright. How we doing? 22 degrees. 21, 22. That's okay, but we're probably going to have to do another cool cycle. That's not quite enough. And apologies, I've still got this cold, it's killing me. That'll do for the moment. What are we doing here? Put this away. Harvest potato. To the point where when I was messing around with the radiator, I was getting to a point where I was thinking, maybe you would want to plant a shitload of potatoes, because I was only doing 1 or 2, but you would want to maybe do mass potatoes just to put more heat in the room to offset the external cooling. Interesting problem to have. Alright, so there's our rounds. See, look, in the scheme of things, that's not so bad, you know, as far as like maintenance. Alright, so we do want to build this desk and the microwave for the baked potato sort of thing. That's not as pressing because at the moment we're making potatoes like crazy. The one thing I'm cognizant of is this low pressure on my suit. Now, what's going to be the easiest way? You can plug a canister straight into one of these tanks. See that little stripy section? That's a canister in out, if I recall correctly. So, it's going to have to just take priority. And, you know, maybe this will save someone's life because they'll be busy building bloody furnaces and all that sort of stuff and not realise that they have to update their sort of oxygen situation. We haven't built the electronics printer in full yet, and that's okay. We will get to that. Canister. There you go. What's that going to take? 5 iron. Well, do we have any iron lying around? We do. We have 1. Alright. Which is to say, we need more. I can't remember what's trapped in this room. I'm not that worried at this point. So let's just get rid of it. I think it's the hot gases. Yeah. But we haven't scrubbed that across in a while, to be honest. Which is good. Now, what did we need? Iron. Oh, look at that. I got big balls of iron. Let's just run this out. That's fine. God, the iron cooks so fast. Crazy. Alright. Let's get that in there. Canister. Right. Now, it should be straight. I wonder if I can just jam it in there while it's still in its cradle. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps there isn't a way to put the canister in there. This could be interesting. Again, I'm going off old memories. So we'll go 4. What? Oh, what did I just do then? I think I dragged my window by accident. Oh my goodness, that's terrifying. Okay. Oh no, what's 6 doing up there now? It's probably better, to be honest. Oh well. No, no 6. You come back down right now. Unacceptable. What's that do? Does that return it? Oh, it does, I think. Alright, good. We're going to need this. Pull this off. Watch it bloody launch. Oh no, even better. Jeez, that's not terrifying at all. Alright. Keep rolling, baby. Come on. Here we go. Canister. Insert. Look at that. Now that should have just worked. Just like that. Look at that. And just to confirm, for those that maybe might be curious, 100% O2. 2.5 mole. Or killer. It doesn't really matter, to be perfectly honest, at this point. Alright, so we swap out our air tank here. We should be laughing. And now we've got our spare, which we might just leave there. That's fine there. Just leave it all lying around. I think as long as we don't interact with it, it should be all fine. I don't want to refill it just yet. Who knows? Who knows? There could be errors. There could be a reason not to do that, but there we go. So replacing our air was much less painful than I thought it would be. I remember when I played this game way back at launch, it wasn't the game's fault. I just misunderstood, and I was trying to rig up some sort of canister system. I didn't realize you could plug a canister straight in. So there you go. Maybe we save someone some trouble. Okay. So that cooling unit that we're talking about, that's important. But before that can happen, you'd need radiators, right? Which means you're going to need a furnace. So we need to get a furnace going. Now, how pressing is all of this? Well, it's not the end of the world. This is a little bit of a luxury sort of thing. I want to just check our water usage. Oh, please don't. Because that's the one other thing that we weren't sure about. Oh shit, wrong button. Don't press I. It's the first time I've done it, so that's interesting. I nearly killed myself, but that's all good. Look, it's still at 0.8 mole, right? So whatever it's using, it's not, I don't want to say negligible, right? But over a couple of days reading, our instrumentation at the level that it goes to 1 decimal point is not registering a change. Which is to say, that water's going to last us a shitload of time. Now, if we want to build another hydroponics or something like that, that's a problem because we're going to have to source water somehow anyway. And we don't really know how to do that. I haven't seen water ice ever. Not since I played like a year or two ago. Okay, so what I'm getting at is that room is pretty good. It's self-sustaining. We just have to do our sort of semi-regular runs. We need to make sure that we've got some cold oxygen ice to go in there to supplement it. That's the one sort of main thing we need to pay attention to. And you can see we've got 2 half stacks there. So it's fine. It's going to run itself. The furnace will come in time. What's probably more pressing, to be perfectly honest, is power. Finally, people are like, oh my god, he's actually going to, the actual madman, is going to shore up his power supply. To which I say, yes, that is correct. Is this copper right here? Oh, that's wonderful. Let's try and remember that. So, as far as iron frames, surely I've still got spare iron frames. I can't have gone through all of them. Then again, maybe I have. I should probably eat before the lady starts yelling at me. Good timing. Alright. Okay. Look, I suppose we'll build the microwave bench and all that as well. There's no reason not to, and it'll make us more efficient with our food. So let's do that, and then we'll work on the power grid. I think that's probably fair. Alright, so we built our bench. That was with furniture. Now, I believe the electronic printer was the next stage in building the microwave. Welding torch and 2 plastic sheets. We can do that. But right now, we are pretty stable, to be perfectly honest. It's a nice place to be in. If I don't open my, helmet and kill myself. So it's good. This now allows me to open it up and get more into the sort of nitty gritty quality of life, I suppose. Depends how you want to look at it. Let's get rid of this. Now what's that? Screwdriver. Okay. We're gonna need to rig that in. We've only got a little bit of wire, don't we? That's alright. We'll use what we've got. Oops. Excuse me, sir. Alright. We can make wire in this with copper. How much copper? We got 2. That'll make us 4. That might actually be enough. Cable. So, what I'm going to do next is I want to build another solar panel. We'll put him next to him. We're going to leave this one as is because we've been able to survive on the supply that's been giving us. All right, so let's not mess with any of that. But the next one, what I hope to do is we'll see if we can build some sort of logic script for it so that it will track the sun's rotation. We'll do a sort of an angle conversion. It should be really interesting. And I'm sure there are people that will find that interesting to learn about as well. Here we go. Look at that, pretty perfect. We got juice. We've got juice. All right. Oh wow, look at all this. So microwave, is that what people are talking about? 512. 512. Now what? 302. This is how my brain will remember it. Let's just go straight in and cook it. Oh, we've already. Oh, there you go. Was it 3? 3, I think. 1, 2, 3. I'll do. And then 2 of this. And 2. Okay. So we'll just bung this in here. Build microwave. Exciting! Alright, so we're going to want to, power this bench, I guess. Maybe the microwave plugs into that. I don't know, I've never built this before, but that's what people have requested. Let's build a couple more bits of copper. You can get, per one, you get 2 cables. 1, 2, 3. That'll probably be enough, right? I think that'd be enough. Alright. So we'll do this. Now, I've seen this glitch before. Hang on. I'll open it on the ground. I don't think so. How do I... Oh, do you just sit it on the thing? Is that the idea? I don't know. We'll get to that. Let's turn this off. What's going on here with my recipe? Oh no, it's fixed now. That's good. Alright. Now what? How do you get power? I'm confused, team. Alright, let's try rigging the ground in first. It's not like I can rig the top of this. Oh wow, this is more than enough cable. I'm sure someone will, if I don't figure it out, people will tell me how to do this, I'm sure. My bench is on. Maybe I could close my microwave. Doesn't look like it's getting power. Huh. Oh, speaking of power. How are we going over here? Look at this. He's doing alright anyway because we're not drawing too hard, but we still need to ward against that. Alright. Yeah, what's with these plugs? You know what I mean? Hang on. Output. I put a cable in there or something. No, I don't think that's gonna. If I held Q, I'll throw it. Oh! Yeah, probably not do that. Alright, I'm sure there's more to this that I'm missing. And you guys will be able to help me. And that'll be fine. Alright, we'll deal with that later. But there you go, I built it. Everyone should be happy now. Doesn't have a power port in the back. Okay. Okay. Alright. So, electronics printer builds a solar panel, if I recall. All sorts of cool stuff that we can build in here. And this will be expensive. 10,520, or more specifically, 9,220. Nope. Okay. 9,220. We could just cook all of that. That's fine. Whew. Oh, we're getting there, team. Yeah, see that? So the pipes aren't poking through at all. 20, and we've only got 14. That's an interesting problem to have. Alright, so we're going to need gold and copper. Pretty certain we don't have either in our belt. I only saw the oxygen ice. How long has this got? We'll just let him finish. Then we'll do our rounds upstairs. Oh, geez, you're freaking me out, love. All right. 2 and 6. It's not so bad, and we found some copper over there before as well. All right, let's head up. Yeah, so the cooling once we have a radiator would be totally different. At the moment, we've been mostly just like draining this entire system, and then putting the air back in because it's not cooling enough. And if you did that with a radiator on, it would just freeze the room. It would be bad. 35 degrees. Well, hey, look, everything's still working fine. I'm happy about that. Boom. Boom. I might just eat a sneaky one of those as well. So, now this is where it might not be cool enough. Oh dear. Yeah, look, it's still a little... It's a tad bit too warm. So, what are we doing? Mining belt. 17 kPa. Yeah, that's probably a bit more reasonable. There you go. So it's very... The maintenance on this has actually worked out quite well. I know it was fiddly getting here, but I'm almost happier with having to add one oxygen ice block every, day or two than potentially what's going to happen when we put a radiator on. But we will continue. A world where we had a fully automated system is it's where we want to aim for, right? That's what everyone wants. I believe there's an automated hydroponics tray as well, which, I haven't looked into it too much, but that fascinates me. Apparently its yield is quite small. It can only grow like one plant, but that's fine by me. If that could totally automate itself, that would make my day, because I look at these plants and think about how I have to manually swap them out myself, and that just, the part of me that wants an automated world gets triggered by that. But of course, it's also got a healthy component because it sort of forces you to go on those rounds. Alright team, so at this point, we're going to do some mining. Oh my god, this cold is killing me. We're going to go get some gold, we're going to get some copper, so we're going to build that solar panel and start shoring up the power grid. That's what we're going to do first. We'll fiddle with a bit of automation on one of the things, not the whole lot. We'll keep this one normal, and we'll have the new one do fancy stuff, because redundancy, yeah? Don't put your whole eggs into one basket, because when shit goes wrong, it can be harder to unstuff. Or more importantly, say your solar panels were all synced up together, and there was an error, but you didn't notice. That's where the problem is. And by the time you realize that it's a catastrophe, your entire grid's drained, and it's the middle of the night, and you have no backup system because it's been sitting there and it hasn't been tracking the sun, then you're stuffed. So it's one of those things, you could catch it, and when you caught it, it'd be an easy fix. But there is a good chance you won't catch it, because it's not like you have an alarm system built in, which is something that we should also do. Have some sort of error system, we'll have a command center and that sort of stuff. That's what I want to work towards, is having a whole bunch of lights on a wall that turn red if something's wrong, and you can go investigate it. Oh, that excites me so much. Anyway, which is weird. Okay team, we might just leave it there. Actually, also make sure you let me know what you want to see for the other series. I'm happy to try any of the planets that people are verbal about, so happy to do whatever. But we might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.